Welcome back, everybody. It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. This one should be a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing a 10-team PPR snake draft on Sleeper for you guys. I'll be doing this from the 101, so going to be really fun to see how this shakes out. Obviously, most of the mock drafts I do for you guys are 12 teams. So I think that's a little bit more common, but 10 teams is a lot of fun as well. Super common. It's going to be really fun to see how we can handle this from a 10-team league standpoint as well. Taking a look at our roster here, so we're going to have one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, and two flexes to go with the standard tight end, and then just four bench spots to keep this one a little bit shorter. So it should be a lot of fun here. We'll obviously start off in a full PPR. We're going to be starting here with Ja'Marr Chase, and then we'll see how things shake out from there. So Ja'Marr Chase, the obvious pick there at the 101. Typically when we get back around here, we're probably looking at guys like Bucky Irving. We could consider going something like one of the top tier tight ends if they make it to us. That's certainly worth considering. I like to say that in 10-team leagues, it makes more sense to at least heavily target the quarterback and tight end positions. Just because if you do that, you're putting yourself in a spot where, everyone's team should be good in a 10-team league, right? So if you give yourself that elite edge at quarterback or tight end where there's not so many tier 1 guys, there's at least something to be excited for doing that. So taking a look at our roster here, Drake London seems like an obvious selection. Super stoked to start a draft with him and Ja'Marr Chase. That's going to be the clear one. Then from there, I think our options are, we got two. We could go Trey McBride if we want to go tight end. I don't necessarily want to start wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. We could do that. If we look back, our next pick's not going to be till about pick 40. So we're looking at praying that Hampton gets to us there. Okay, so we're going to go Drake London. If we don't go running back here, then things get interesting. So if we go with... we could go Josh Allen, but I don't really want to do that. I just don't love the value of taking Josh Allen that early. I don't want to be the first person to take a quarterback. Trey McBride is certainly an option. I feel really good with him on the roster if we go that route. And if we go running back, I really like Chase Brown. Chase Brown is the other selection that I'm considering. I just am a little bit hesitant to do that because I don't want to have too many Bengals in the roster. Not that that's a bad thing, but starting with Ja'Marr Chase makes me a little bit less willing to go with Chase Brown. Just a little bit too much exposure there. We're going to go Trey McBride and see how things shake out here. We're sort of looking at the start of a zero RB build here. But I feel really great about that start. Ja'Marr Chase, Drake London, Trey McBride. You really can't go wrong with that. What I'm really hoping here is that Amarian Hampton gets back to us, because if he's our running back one, I'm going to feel really good about this roster. But if we miss out on it, oh man, okay. So there goes Amarian Hampton. Looking at the running back position, it got gross really fast. In a full PPR, Alvin Kamara is at least somewhat interesting, right? He's a guy that's certainly going to catch a million passes, and that gives us a pretty safe floor for a guy. I mean, there's obviously risk associated with him and his age, but just in a full PPR, I'd be okay with him as my running back one. Wide receiver, again, we can continue we can start four, so we can keep going wide receiver, but I think there's room for us to wait a little bit there. We're obviously done at tight end. Taking Joe Burrow is tempting just because we have Ja'Marr Chase. But I don't want to do that in a full PPR. So we're going to start with Alvin Kamara. So now I'm looking at wide receiver here. I think it's a little bit scary taking Davante Adams here. He would be the pick if I wasn't so concerned about the back with Aaron Rodgers, but that does scare me just a little bit. And I think someone with a little bit more of a guaranteed target volume this season. I think you're looking at a guy in DK Metcalf who should be hyper-targeted. If he's your wide receiver 3, I feel really good about that. So, no, I can't take Metcalf over Adams. The upside for Adams is just way higher. I'll go Adams here. I know it's a little bit of a riskier pick, but at least until we get more confirmation. Getting Adams in the 5th round feels like something that I'd be okay with. It's the first time we've ever been able to do that. And it sucks passing on potentially getting a stack with Joe Burrow, but I don't want to go quarterback and tight end early. It just puts you in a bit of a weird spot with the rest of your roster and how things shake out. So this is awesome. My personal favorite, George Pickens, is going to be here. He's certainly going to be one of the 2 selections we make right here. I feel really good about that. That's going to be giving us a perfect wide receiver 4. And again, in a full PPR, I want to be flexing a wide receiver. So he's the obvious pick here. And then from there, now things get interesting. So what I want to be looking for is, really we're looking for, I'm pretty much torn between RJ Harvey and Travion Henderson here. Don't want to go another wide receiver. If we went quarterback, I honestly I'm kind of looking at getting Kyler Murray with my next pick, but that'd be like next time around, stacking him with Trey McBride. Running back, I love DeAndre Swift. I feel like that's a great pick, but I think I could maybe gamble on him making it back. He won't, so I guess that's fair. And again, at the turn, you shouldn't really be worried about ADP. RJ Harvey feels great, but I like Travion Henderson more. I think he's a better player, and that matters for me here. I think there's more upside associated with him, so I'm going to go Travion here. He's my RB2. We just got two basically primary pass catching backs to fill out our top tier, and in a full PPR, I feel totally okay with that. So, got a lot of passes being caught between our top 7 guys here. That's pretty fun. Taking a look here with our next pick, I'd love to get one more running back that I feel good about. Dang, okay, if Waddle was there, he would have been an auto pick for me. Okay, so let's just take a look at the running back position. Things have gotten pretty gross, obviously. I'm running out of players pretty quickly. So it's somewhat tempting to go 2 here. I could go like Brian Robinson, just get myself a safe floor. And then Jaylen Warren feels really good in full PPR. He's certainly a guy that I'm targeting. He won't be there with my next pick, so I got to consider him. At quarterback, Kyler also probably won't be there. So what's tempting here for me is to be able to go Jaylen Warren and Kyler Murray. I think that's what I'm leaning towards just because I feel like there's a pretty significant tier drop. So we're going to go Kyler. We're going to go Jaylen Warren. So I feel really good about that. Really just leaning into the PPR mold here. Kind of waited on running back. Went with 3 primary pass-catching running backs. As just trying to stabilize our floor here. So I feel pretty good about that. Honestly, our starting lineup's full, which is awesome. We got Jaylen Warren on the bench. That gives us some nice bit of comfort with the rest of our starting lineup there, just given that the running back spot is certainly the weakest part on this roster. Quarterback, we're done. We got Kyler. I don't see any reason to draft 2 if you do that. Wide receiver, I'm certainly interested in a couple of these guys. I was really bummed to see Egbuka go right before me. That's okay. Looking at tight end, I'm not going to go tight end here just yet, but just could consider it. It's crazy seeing Tyler Warren go ahead of like David Njoku right now. But so if we want to go running back, that certainly makes a lot of sense. I think that Jordan Mason's a great pick here. It gives us some upside. The first like non-PPR centric pick, but I think that's certainly valuable. One more running back that I'd feel good about. So I think I'm going to go with Jordan Mason. Now what I'm torn between is either going Javonte or going with the next best wide receiver on the board, which for me would probably be probably Josh Downs, especially in a full PPR. I think Downs is a good bet to catch a lot of passes. I think I'm just going to feel too gross if I take Javonte over Josh Downs. So we're going to go Josh Downs here. I feel good about that. Then we've got one more bench spot to fill out here. I think what I'd be looking for here in this scenario would likely be just trying to target as much upside as possible. Again, you get to this spot in the draft. We'll go kicker and defense for the last 2 picks. Don't want to bore you guys with those, but so looking at upside as much as possible. At running back, I don't see anybody with crazy upside unless I wanted to go like Bashal Tutin. Wide receiver, I think that there is a lot of upside associated with Keon Coleman, especially with the injuries, surrounding the rest of the pass catchers in Buffalo. So it makes a lot of sense to consider that. Kyle Williams is interesting. Honestly, Keenan Allen in a full PPR, he's not the wide receiver 1 there, but that makes a lot of sense. I just don't think Keenan could really crack the starting lineup, and maybe Keon Coleman levels up and just becomes a superstar. So we'll consider that as our option. With defenses, honestly, I haven't looked too closely into their starting season schedules yet, so I don't want to get too hung up on that. Yeah, so honestly, I think, especially if your league allows you to, I think I would generally recommend that you just take more skill position players and then draft kicker and defense later. So if I were going to do that, I want to target some more upside at the wide receiver position. For me, that's going to be Marvin Mims. I think that's someone that we should certainly be considering. Mims played 9 out of the 10 offensive snaps with the starters in week 1 of the preseason. That's sort of been his handcuff, or his handicap so far in his career. It's just that he didn't play enough snaps to be really relevant for fantasy. If he starts doing that, he's an incredibly explosive player on a per touch basis. I think he could be really good for us in fantasy. Then maybe we want to go one more running back. We only have 4 on the roster. With my last pick, I feel good about Tyjae Spears. I know the high ankle sprain's there, but in a full PPR, he's going to certainly be useful. So I feel really good about this roster. This was a lot of fun. Super quick doing these as well. I think that in a full PPR, you definitely want to start with Ja'Marr Chase. That one seems obvious. And I think from there, you just want to take value, especially having the 2 flex spots really gives you the luxury of just sort of hammering wide receiver. Like my first 3 picks were wide receivers and a tight end, and I still feel like my running back room ended up fine just because in a full PPR, I think Kamara, Henderson, Warren, Mason, Spears, like I'm going to get enough points out of that, and the pass catchers in this roster are insane. So I feel really good about it. Summarize the roster here. We got Kyler at quarterback to pair with Trey McBride at tight end. There's our fun little stack. At running back, we've got Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, and Tyjae Spears. And then at wide receiver, we've got Ja'Marr Chase, Drake London, Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, and Marvin Mims. So let me know what you guys think about this team. I think it was really good. I feel really good about this, especially in a full PPR format. If you guys have any other mock draft formats or anything like that you'd like to see before the draft season kicks off, let me know. I'll be doing my best to at least get all these out for you guys. So just let me know. I'll try to get that out for you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It's going to be a lot of fun here. I'm going to be putting out 3 to 4 videos a week during the course of the rest of August. A lot more are going to continue coming out during the regular season as well. So there's going to be a ton of content for you guys to enjoy, and hopefully you guys stick around and win some leagues with me. So appreciate you guys for watching this. If you made it this far, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.